Listen carefully, for my words pierce your confusion like a river carving a path through firm rocks. Amid the noise, the disorder, and the storms that strike your inner being, my voice does not go out. Even when everything around you seems to collapse, I remain present. When chaos screams, when the news becomes heavy, when your heart beats with fear and your strength seems exhausted, there you will find me, lifting your spirit and guarding what seemed lost. You have not come this far by chance. Every step you took, even those you felt were weak, I upheld with care. Perhaps you think the crises have marked the end of your dreams, but I tell you they are stages where I prepare wonders. Nothing you face will be able to silence the work I am preparing for you. Though the surroundings be tinted with shadows, I illuminate your path with sure direction. The refuge I offer is not like human shelters that wear out over time. What I give remains firm before the fiercest storm. Your anxiety, your sleepless nights, your racing thoughts, everything can be brought into my hands because I have power to transform them into peace. The crisis that now seems an impenetrable wall will be the same one that becomes testimony of my faithfulness. The turbulent waters that try to drown you are not greater than the spring of life I unleash upon you. The fire that rages around you cannot consume what I protect with my presence. No visible or invisible enemy has authority to destroy what I shelter under my wings. There is no weapon that can prevail against my covering, and there is no chaos that can defeat my peace. You look at circumstances and think all is lost. You observe the numbers, the diagnoses, the unpaid bills, the relationships that break, and conclude the end is near. But I see beyond. I do not limit you to what your human eyes can behold. My vision encompasses what is coming, what is hidden, and what seems impossible. Where you see ruin, I prepare lifting up. Where there is only desert, springs arise. Where paths are closed, I prepare ways that no one can block. The storm does not define your destiny. The roar of chaos does not determine your victory. Stand firm, for my hand is outstretched over you. It is not time to give up. It is time to open your heart to the supernatural. It is time to believe in miracles that defy logic, to expect the unexpected, to lift your eyes to heaven and understand that your story does not end in the crisis, but is strengthened within it. In your fragility I show my greatness. In your questions I pour out answers. When your mind finds no way out, I design strategies you never imagined. Who can stop my plan? Who can close what I decide to open? No circumstance is strong enough to prevent the fulfillment of what I have prepared for you. Psalm 46 verse 1. God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Keep this truth deep within your being. That word was not written for others only, it was declared also for you. In every crisis, in every dark night, in every battle you do not understand, I am present as refuge and strength. I defend you when you do not know how to fight. I lift you when your knees tremble, and I cover you when the storm rages violently. Do not fear the chaos that breaks out in the world. Do not be anguished by what external voices say. Do not lock yourself in thoughts of defeat. For while others sink in fear, I call you to walk on the waters of faith. While others take refuge in the temporary, I keep you in the eternal. The miracle I prepare will not only pull you out of the crisis, but will demonstrate that I have power to transform the impossible into a glorious work. Your fragility does not surprise me. Your pain does not push me away. Your crisis does not limit me. I have seen every tear and heard every cry in secret. Nothing you go through is invisible to me. Everything that happens is under my gaze, and though you may not now understand why the storm came, I assure you the end will be different from what you fear. The crisis does not have the last word. I do. I do not speak to feed empty illusions. I speak because the truth of my power is alive. This is not about human promises that are forgotten over time. It is about an eternal word that cannot be broken. When I say I will be with you, it is not poetry. It is an eternal commitment. When I declare that the crisis will not destroy you, it is because I have already traced the victory you will experience. Trust. That is the key that opens the door to the supernatural. Trust does not mean the absence of problems. It means certainty amid pain. When you decide to trust, even though your eyes see no way out, I unleash miracles that surpass your understanding. Faith does not deny the storm but activates my power to cross it with safety. I call you to rest in me. Rest is not passivity, it is surrender. It does not mean giving up to the crisis. It means handing the crisis into my hands. It means recognizing that you cannot carry everything alone, and that your strength finds rest in my embrace. Rest because when you sleep in peace amid chaos, I show that my presence is real. Do not let the noise of this time steal your confidence. Do not give your mind to despair. Do not feed thoughts of failure. Keep your heart anchored in the eternal. When the waves strike your boat, remember that I have authority to command calm. When the winds blow fiercely, remember that I have power to turn them into momentum on your behalf. Today I raise an invisible wall of protection over you. Today I declare peace over your thoughts. Today I pour strength into your inner being. Today I prepare miracles that will be born in the midst of the storm, not after it. Because I want you to know that my glory is not limited to quiet times. It shines even more when everything around seems chaos. Your life will not end in ruins. Your story will not be marked by defeat. Though the crisis be strong, my power is greater. Though the world tremble, my word remains. Though men fail, my faithfulness never changes. Remain confident, for what you call chaos today you will call testimony tomorrow. What you call pain today you will call miracle tomorrow. And when you see what I will do, you will know you were never alone in the midst of the storm. You will recognize that my refuge was your peace and that my power was your victory. Then your mouth will proclaim that chaos never had the last word, because my presence was with you at every moment. You look around and what you see seems like a field of ruins. That which you built with effort has come down like a tower struck by the wind. What you thought was secure has broken. What gave you stability has crumbled without warning. The ground beneath your feet moves and you feel there is nowhere to lean. Your heart beats fast. Your mind does not understand what is happening, and your voice almost fades among questions that find no answer. Amid that scene, I remain firm with you. Nothing that falls escapes my knowledge. What collapses before your eyes is not the end of your life. It is the beginning of a new season where my strength will manifest in a surprising way. Where others see only rubble, I prepare indestructible foundations. Where everything seems empty, I plant new seeds that will bloom more beautifully than before. Do not think you are alone amid the collapse. I hold you even when you feel you cannot hold yourself. The pressure you now face is not too great for my hand. The burden that seems to break you has no power to destroy you, because I am at your side lifting every part of you that threatens to fall. The collapse you experience is real, but so is the strength I release within you. I sustain you when your legs do not respond. I embrace you when your spirit is broken. I surround you when you think no one cares for you. The fall of what you loved does not mark the end of your story. It marks the moment when my power becomes more evident. When your surroundings come apart, my plan remains intact. Nothing can frustrate what I have determined. Though the pillars of your life shake, my arms keep you standing. Though the system around you fails, my faithfulness remains. Though people abandon you, my commitment to you does not break. I know it hurts to lose what you valued. I know the crisis seems unfair and uncertainty overwhelms. I know your tears have flowed like rivers in the night. But I keep each one of them. Each of your pleas reaches my presence. No cry is lost in the void. Every word of yours echoes in my heart. The world may tremble and human structures collapse, but I will not allow your life to be destroyed. My purpose is stronger than chaos. My care is more stable than any system that falls apart. I sustain you not only so you survive, but so you advance. I do not pick you up only to comfort you, but to raise you in victory. Remember this. When all that is visible collapses, it is the perfect moment for my miracles to manifest. The crisis does not limit me. On the contrary, it becomes the stage where I show my glory. What men call ruin, I turn into a platform of new opportunities. What seems loss, I transform into the beginning of abundance. Amid destruction, I open your eyes so you can see that I am still with you. While the dust of the collapse clouds your sight, I ignite in you the hope of the eternal. You are not destined to live among ruins. You are called to walk on firm ground, sustained by my word that never fails. You do not need to understand everything. It is not necessary for you to have immediate answers. The only thing I require from you is trust. Because in trust my power is activated, in faith the way opens to what I prepare. Even though your logic does not comprehend, your spirit will receive strength if you decide to rest in me. Isaiah 41 verse 10. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Keep this promise as a seal in your mind. These are not words for the past, but an active covenant for you right now. Whenever you feel everything is falling, remember that my hand sustains your life. Whenever despair tries to govern your heart, return to this reminder: I never abandon you amid the ruin. Understand that the collapse is not a sign of defeat. It is preparation for something greater. The walls that fall around you are not the end of the story. They are the beginning of a new design. What shakes and falls was not the eternal. The eternal remains intact. What you lose materially will never be greater than what I am about to give you spiritually. Chaos wants to make you believe there is no way out. Despair whispers that everything is over. But hear my voice. I sustain your life even in silence. I will not allow the weight of the storm to destroy what I hold in my hands. When you think you cannot go on, there I intervene with strength that surpasses your capacity. When everything around you seems in ruins, I prepare the ground for something new and powerful. Do not look only at what has collapsed. Look at what still remains. Your breath is still in you because there is still purpose. Your spirit remains alive because I still have plans to fulfill with you. If everything had ended, you would not be here hearing my words. The evidence that I hold your life is that you can still hear my voice amid the chaos. Learn to trust beyond the visible. Learn to walk on invisible foundations, because those are the ones that never get destroyed. What you build in the eternal does not collapse with storms. What you erect on my word remains forever. Your outlook will change when you understand that the crisis is not an enemy but a bridge. It is not about glorifying pain, but recognizing that even the difficult can become a seed of glory. What today seems desolation, tomorrow you will see as testimony of strength. What today presents itself as defeat will tomorrow be a memory of victory. I hold your life with care. I let not one detail of you slip away. I know your weariness, your hidden thoughts, your internal battles. Nothing escapes my attention. And amid all this, I continue to affirm that what surrounds you may fall, but what I hold in my hands will never be lost. When others look at your ruins, they will see desolation. But when I look, I see ground ready to raise something greater. When others point out that everything is over, I declare that a glorious work is just beginning. When you feel your strength breaking, remember that you are not the one who bears the last word. It is my power sustaining you at every moment. So do not fear the collapse. Do not fear the noise of the breakdown. Do not fear the news that tries to steal your peace. None of that has authority to destroy you. My hand remains over your life and my word covers you like an indestructible wall. And when this time passes, when you see how in the midst of the collapse I raised you up, you will recognize that you were never sustained by your achievements nor by your strength, but by my faithfulness. That will be your testimony, that although everything fell apart, your life remained firm because my hands never let you go. You look at your table and it seems empty. You open your hands and feel there is nothing with which to face what comes. Your heart fills with questions. How will I move forward without resources? How will I survive when scarcity strikes hard? What will I do if everything I had disappears? Your logic says there is no solution, that there is no way out. But listen, in the places where your eyes see desert, I prepare abundance. Where there is nothing, my hands make provision spring forth. Scarcity has no authority over your destiny. Lack is not the end of your story. Even if the accounts are in the red, even if human doors close, even if the job has been lost, you are not abandoned to your fate. I have ways that surpass all human understanding. Where calculations fall short, my miracles begin to work. Where your strength runs out, there I unleash my power. In times of crisis, my miracles are not limited. The drought does not extinguish my source of provision. Scarcity does not block my abundance. When everything around you seems empty, I demonstrate that my hand can multiply what others consider insufficient. The little in your hands can be transformed into much under my blessing. You do not need to control every detail. What you need is to trust that my care does not fail. The provision I prepare does not always appear immediately, Sometimes it comes in unexpected forms, in people who appear on your path, in opportunities you never imagined, in doors that seemed closed and suddenly open without explanation. Lack wants to make you believe you are forgotten, but you are not. Need wants to tell you you are unprotected, but my presence is with you. Even in the darkest night, I continue preparing what is necessary so that the essential does not fail. My plan is not to leave you in scarcity, but to show you that my faithfulness is greater than any void. Remember the ancient deserts. The people cried out with neither water nor bread, and amid the dust I sent manna from heaven and water from the rock. That did not remain in the past as a distant story, it remains a living truth today. Because what I did then I still do in your time. If food arose from nothingness, in your crisis I can also unleash provision. The key is not to surrender to fear. For fear paralyzes and makes scarcity seem giant. But when you choose to believe, your faith opens the door for abundance to flow. It is not about denying reality, but about remembering that reality is not the final word. My power is. Your table will be filled again. Your heart will cease to be anguished. Your spirit will learn that true sustenance does not come only from the visible, but from what I provide from the eternal. It is not only bread for your mouth, but peace for your inner being, hope for your mind, and strength for your soul. Do not focus only on what is missing. Look at what still remains. That small resource that seems insignificant can be multiplied in my hands. That seemingly simple idea can become opportunity. That door that seemed closed can become a path to provision. Nothing you give in faith is wasted. Everything can be multiplied under my care. When scarcity knocks at your door, remember that I will not leave you empty. When resources run out, my power does not exhaust. When human opportunities close, I open new ones supernaturally. Where the world says, there is nothing, I declare, there is more than you imagine. Philippians 4 verse 19. And my God will supply every need of yours according to his riches in glory in Christ Jesus. That promise was not written as mere ornament, but as a real covenant. Everything that is lacking, everything that anguishes you, everything you believe lost, is under my provision. I do not limit my action to human riches. I act according to my riches in glory, and those never run out. The enemy wants to make you think your story will end in scarcity. He wants to convince you that lack will be permanent. But my truth is different. I will sustain your life, fill your table, open doors in unexpected places, and make your heart learn to live confidently amid the crisis. The abundance I prepare is not always measured in numbers, because it is not only about quantity but about sufficiency. What I give you will always be sufficient for the moment you are passing through. And when it seems little to you, I will open your eyes so you see that under my blessing that little has the capacity to become more than enough. Do not think the crisis limits you to begging. On the contrary, it is the scenario where I show that I can raise tables in the desert. It is where I manifest that even in the driest places I can open springs. It is where I teach that true provision is born of my faithfulness, not of human abundance. Your empty hands do not frighten me. Your pockets with nothing do not limit me. Your accounts in the red are not an obstacle to my provision. Because when there is nothing, when the human no longer suffices, there the divine begins. There the door to the miraculous opens. There the glory of my care manifests. You will rise from this season of crisis with a new understanding. You will know that you were not sustained by what you had, but by what I gave. You will recognize that your strength was not in your savings, in your job, in your safety net, but in my faithfulness that never fails. And your testimony will be clear. In nothingness there was provision. In the void, abundance arose. In the drought, life was born. Do not doubt what I prepare. Do not question what my hands can multiply. Just give the little you have, even if it seems insignificant, and trust that I will make it sufficient. You will see doors open, resources arrive in unexpected ways, opportunities arise in dry ground. Because my power does not depend on circumstances, but on my eternity. Today I declare abundant provision over you. Today I unleash upon your life what you need to move forward. Today I fill your table, your heart, and your spirit. Today I transform lack into testimony, scarcity into abundance, the void into miracle. And when all this passes, You will not forget that it was in the crisis where you saw the impossible become possible. You will understand that my provision is real, that my faithfulness is eternal, and that in the times when there was nothing, you received everything you needed from my hand. Listen to me carefully, for at this moment your tears speak to me louder than your words. You do not need to shout at me, nor write perfect speeches, nor hide your emotions behind a facade of strength. What I want to reveal to you today is that my power moves precisely in the places where your strength ran out, in the hours when you no longer see a way out, in those early mornings when the weight of life becomes unbearable. That is where I act. That is where I prepare a road where before there was only a wall. You have believed that your crises are the end, but in my hands they are the perfect stage to show you what you could never imagine. I do not ask you to understand it with your mind, I ask you to open your heart. Because although everything tells you there is no hope, my voice is stronger than despair. And though pain wants to drown you, I raise an invisible path under your feet. Remember the days when you thought you would never be able to move forward, and yet you are here. That was no coincidence. That was my hand holding you when you did not notice. That was my grace poured out on you when you deserved nothing, and yet I loved you without measure. Do not seek solutions in the usual places, because the miracle I prepare for you will not come from the natural or the expected. It will open in the territory of impossibility, where no one gives credit, where even you have already let go of hopes. I do not need doors opened by human hands, because when I determine to act, my power breaks chains, parts seas, brings down walls, and brings into existence what did not exist. You have felt that everything closes before you, opportunities, relationships, inner strength. You have knocked on doors that seemed immovable and heard only silence. You have cried out and believed that heaven was closed. But today I want you to hear with your soul. None of your prayers was lost, no sigh was ignored. Each of your tears fell in my presence. And now I tell you that I will not let your crisis destroy you. I will use it as seed so the impossible may bloom. Isaiah 43 verse 19 declares, "Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert." Do you hear it? That word was written for you as well. Desert means emptiness, it means solitude, it means what kills slowly. But for me it is fertile ground where I open a path you never imagined. When the people faced the sea and the enemy came behind them, there was no way out. But my power did not recognize the limits of the water. I separated the waves, transformed the impossible into a safe passage, and my people walked on dry land. That is what I will do with you. I will open what could not be opened. When the walls of Jericho seemed impenetrable, it was not human strength that tore them down. It was my power manifesting through obedience and faith. And I will do the same with the walls of your life, those that have hemmed you in, those that do not let you breathe. Do not fear scarcity. Do not fear illness. Do not fear abandonment. Do not fear loss. Because where you see closure, I prepare a beginning. Where you see ruins, I raise hope. Where you see a valley of dry bones, I breathe life and transform it into an army of hope. Your heart has felt the weight of endless nights. You have thought you can no longer continue, that your story was broken forever. But hear my voice, this is not your end. It is the exact space where you will see that my power opens ways in your impossibility. I do not want you to rely on your resources, your intelligence, or your strength. I want you to recognize that when you can no longer, I continue working. Every tear of yours is raw material for the miracle. Every wound that bleeds is ground where I can pour healing oil. Every failure of yours is the place where my grace can raise victory. Do not underestimate what I am doing in secret. Even though your eyes do not see it, I am moving invisible pieces. I am organizing what seemed lost. I am aligning what seemed disordered. Voices will come that say to you, there is no point in waiting. It is impossible. No one succeeds. You won't either. But I remind you that when I say yes, no one can say no. And when I open, no one can close. I do not move by statistics. I move by my eternal purpose. I know the waiting has worn out your faith. I know the crisis has become a burden that crushes your spirit. I know prolonged silences have made you doubt. But I want you to understand that while you waited, I strengthened roots within you. While you wept, I planted character. While you kept silent, I built a deeper faith. There will come a time when what seemed a dead end will become an avenue of glory. Do not doubt it. Do not postpone it in your heart. Do not compare yourself with others who seem to advance more quickly. My work in you is unique, and when I open that way, you will know that no one else could have done it. I want you to remember, I have not abandoned you. You are not walking blindly. You are being guided by an eternal love that will never let you go. The miracle will not be as you imagined, but it will be perfect in its time. And when you see what I prepare, your tears will become song, your chains testimony, your wounds footsteps of victory. Take this word today. Your crisis does not have the last word, because I open a way in what seemed closed. Do not fear the future. Do not fear what others will say. Do not fear negative reports. Have peace, because my hands are still writing your story. And I write it with strokes of hope, restoration, and supernatural power. Do not forget, the impossibilities for you are the natural terrain of my power. I do not fail, I do not delay, I do not abandon what I begin. What I am building in your life will be a testimony that will inspire many. It will be a living sign that in times of crisis my power opens paths where there was nothing. Rest, because the miracle is already in process. And although you still see desert, although you still perceive silence, although you still feel loneliness, I am working. And very soon, you will see with your own eyes that the impossible became reality, not by your strength, but by my eternal love that never fails. I look at your pains and they are not foreign to me. The illness that oppresses your body, the fatigue that steals your strength, the brokenness that dwells deep within your being. I've seen it all, I know it all. Your suffering is not indifferent to me, nor do I stay distant from your reality. My compassion leans toward you tenderly, and my power is ready to transform what seems hopeless to you. Your flesh cries out for relief, your thoughts drown in anguish, and your heart beats amidst a whirlwind of uncertainty. I know what it is to walk under the weight of pain, because I was there in your longest nights, when sleep would not come, when every movement was a battle, and when loneliness seemed harsher than the illness itself. Do not blame yourself for feeling weak. Fragility is not a sign of abandonment. It is a sign that you need my healing touch. You are not less loved because your body wears down or because your mind goes through shadows. It is precisely in that fragility where my power becomes most evident, because I do not reject the trembling vessel. I renew it, restore it, strengthen it with a breath that does not come from the earth, but from the eternal. There are pains that medicine cannot reach, wounds that human hands cannot stitch, cracks hidden behind a smile that does not reflect the truth. Those invisible pains I also attend. The marks within you, those that no one understands or can heal, I touch them with tenderness and authority. I know how to repair what others ignored. I know how to uproot fear, restore destroyed trust, and reignite light where despair once dwelled. Remember this, no disease is greater than my power. No wound is so deep that my hand cannot reach it. No crisis of your body or soul has the strength to stop what I have decided to work in you. You are afraid that what you are experiencing will be permanent. You fear that affliction will consume the remaining days of your life. But I tell you, as long as you have breath, there is hope. As long as my presence remains in you, the story does not end in defeat. Jeremiah 30 verse 17 declares, "But I will restore you to health and heal your wounds, declares the Lord." This word was not trapped in ancient times. It is life for you now. It is a living promise in the midst of your struggle. What I wrote then, I uphold today with the same power. If I said it, I fulfill it. And what seems irreversible to men becomes a testimony of healing before me. I have seen how you look at yourself in the mirror with fear, as if your reflection were a reminder of losses and inner battles. But I want you to understand that you are not a broken body, not a worn mind, not a defeated soul. You are my work, and my work is never left unfinished. What began perfect in my hands, I will restore with my power. There are wounds that do not come from the body but from rejection, abandonment, from words that hurt more than a blow. That is why I assure you that my healing reaches both the visible and the invisible. I renew your skin but also your spirit. I strengthen your bones but also your thoughts. I restore the external but also ignite hope internally. I know there are days when you have thought, "Where are you while it hurts so much?" Today I want you to know that I have been closer than ever. In every tear, I collected your cry. In every sigh, I leaned toward you. In every moment of fatigue, I held you even if you did not perceive it. You are not invisible to me. Your suffering has not gone unnoticed. The miracle I prepare is not only physical, because there is healing that cannot be measured by diagnoses, but by the peace that returns to your thoughts. There are miracles that do not consist only in regaining strength, but in awakening the hope you believed lost. I am working in both dimensions, in what your eyes can see and in what your soul has not yet comprehended. I want you to trust my timing because healing does not always arrive in the way you imagine. Sometimes the answer is immediate, and other times my work manifests little by little, layer by layer, until suddenly you discover that it no longer hurts as before, that what was once an open wound no longer bleeds, that what once oppressed you no longer stops you. Do not fear the nights when you feel everything is fading. Even in those moments my light continues to shine upon you. The miracle does not stop when you sleep, nor does it suspend when you doubt. My hand continues to work in silence, preparing the dawn where you will see that what seemed impossible has become reality. Do not forget that I formed every part of your being. I know the secrets of your body, the corners of your mind, the depths of your heart. There is no detail hidden from me. That is why, when I declare healing over you, it is total, it is complete, it is permanent. I do not give incomplete restoration, but abundant, full, and true. Your weary soul will be strengthened. Your worn body will receive new vigor. Your wounded thoughts will be renewed. And all this not because of your merits, but because of my unchanging love. I want you to know that in your crisis I am revealing a dimension of my glory you have not seen before. When you feel the touch of peace after pain, you will understand that it was me. When you rise with new strength, you will know it was me. When you smile after the storm, you will recognize that it was me. Do not fix your gaze only on what you lack today, focus on what I can do. Because where doctors say, there is nothing more, I say, my work has just begun. Where your mind clouds and you lose control, I bring clarity and order. Where your heart breaks, I pour eternal balm. Very soon, you will testify that in the worst crisis of your body and soul, I brought healing. And that testimony will be a torch that ignites the faith of others who also cry in silence. I will turn your pain into a message of life, your brokenness into song, your process into hope for many. Do not fear because my word remains. Do not doubt because my faithfulness is unshakable. Do not retreat because what I begin in you I complete. Rest in this truth. In the midst of the hardest crisis of your body and soul, I remain your healer, your restorer, and your peace. I have seen how your tears have fallen on the pillow when no one else was present. You hid so that others would not perceive the magnitude of your pain, but for me nothing was hidden. Each sob of yours resonated in my presence like a deep cry, stronger than any word. The weeping that sprang from you was not ignored, because my heart is moved by your brokenness. Do not think that your tears are weak. They carry a message that pierces the heavens and reaches me directly. I have counted each one as if they were pearls kept in a chest. None was lost, none wasted. Even when you thought you cried in vain, I was transforming that expression of pain into a seed for a future of hope. You have felt that crying became your most frequent language, as if your life were a succession of losses and farewells. The pain of betrayals, the emptiness of absences, the frustration of broken dreams. I've seen it all. And although it may seem that only ashes remain, I want you to understand that from those ashes I raise beauty. Your brokenness is not a sign of abandonment. Your sadness does not mean defeat. Your story will not be marked by the defeat of weeping, but by the victory that will spring from it. Do not ignore what I am doing deep within your soul. Pain will not be the end of your story. I will turn it into a new melody, into a dance of freedom, into a testimony that will make those who hear it tremble as they see how I was able to change the direction of your story. Your nights of crying have been long. You have seen the dawn arrive without answers. You have thought that life had lost meaning. But I want you to know that I remain with you in those cold early hours. I do not close my ears to your laments. I do not remove my hands from your life when you need them most. Psalm 30 verse 5 declares, "Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning." This promise is not an empty consolation, it is an eternal decree. The weeping that seems endless has a limit, and I establish that limit with my faithfulness. Darkness is not eternal, pain does not reign forever, because I turn the dawn into an answer and the lament into celebration. Even now I am working with your tears. They water the soil of your life so that fruits may arise that you could never imagine. Just as rain prepares the seed, your tears prepare the miracle that is about to bloom. What now hurts will be your victory tomorrow. What now weighs will be a testimony of glory. What today breaks you will be the very place where I lift you with authority and renewed strength. Many have gone through what you are experiencing and remained along the way. But you will not be left downcast because my hand will lift you. Even when you think there is no strength in you, I am your sustenance. Even when you think there is no reason to continue, I am your reason to go on. Even when you think crying will be your only language, I will write upon you a new song that will spring from your mouth. The tears you shed for losses will be transformed into embraces of restoration. The sighs of despair will become sincere laughter. The pain of what you lost will turn into gratitude for the new things I am preparing. I know what I removed from your path, and I also know what I will bring in its place. And what I bring will be far better than what you wept over. The enemy thought that your tears were a sign of defeat. But what he does not understand is that in your weeping I was working silently. While you cried, I sowed faith. While you groaned, I breathed life. While you were silent, I wove a way out. I do not despise your tears, I honor them. Because they are testimony that even in the midst of pain you did not stop turning to me. Each drop was an invisible altar where your soul sought me. And I never ignore an altar erected in sincerity. I want you to trust this. Soon you will see with your own eyes how the place where you cried the most will be the same site where you will lift a song of victory. It will not be just any victory. It will be one that carries my mark, one that others will recognize as impossible without my intervention. When that day comes, you will remember each tear and understand that it was not in vain. You will kneel and say, it was worth trusting, it was worth waiting, it was worth not giving up. And that will be the beginning of a new stage in your life, one where hope shines brighter than any shadow of the past. Even in your fatigue, even in your loneliness, even in your discouragement, I remain faithful. I will not leave you in the dust. I will not allow your pain to define your future. I will not accept that your identity is weeping, because your identity is in my victory, in my love, in my power that lifts you. I have decided to transform what the world calls failure into testimony. I have decided to change what you call an end into a beginning. I have decided to turn what you cry over today into a victory that will be proclaimed before many. Therefore, do not hold back your tears any longer. Let them flow, because in my hands they become strength. Do not hide your pain any longer. Give it to me, because in my hands it turns into glory. Do not silence what you feel. Bring it to my presence, because in me you find the answer. You will receive peace. You will receive strength. You will receive joy. And you will experience it on a level you have never experienced before, because the joy that comes after weeping is purer, deeper, truer. It is not a passing smile. It is an eternal joy that springs from my spirit. I want you to cling today to this truth. Your weeping will not go unanswered. What tears you apart today will be your strongest testimony tomorrow. What hurts you today will be your banner of victory tomorrow. Trust me, because just as I collect your tears, I also give you my comfort. Just as I see your pain, I also declare your healing. Just as I accompany your brokenness, I also celebrate with you the victory I am already preparing. And when all has passed, when my glory shines in you, you will understand that you were never alone, that each tear had a purpose, and that I was the one who transformed your weeping into victory. I know your most hidden weariness, not only the exhaustion that shows in your body, but also the one that dwells deep within your soul. I have seen when you rise with effort pretending that everything is fine, when you smile to hide the cracks, when you say you have strength while inside you feel you can barely stand. None of those struggles escape my gaze, and it is precisely in that condition that I choose to manifest what no one else can give you. You have tried to be strong on your own, you have wanted to carry the weight of everything around you, and although you managed for a time, the moment came when your knees began to tremble. And you thought, if I can't go on, everything will end in failure. But I want you to engrave this truth in your heart. Your weakness is not the end, it is the beginning of my intervention. I do not expect you to be perfect. I do not expect you never to fall, nor to always have firm words, nor that your steps never falter. I know you are fragile, I know there are limits in you, I know fatigue accumulates. And in that terrain, in that state where you feel nothing else works, that is where I pour out my strength. You see your weakness as an obstacle, but I see it as the place where my power will become evident. Because when your strength runs out, mine overflows. When your resources are exhausted, mine multiply. When your arms can no longer hold, mine lift you with tenderness and power. You have fought against thoughts that tell you that you are not enough, that you will not succeed, that your situation has no solution. Those voices try to convince you that weakness condemns you. But my voice tells you otherwise. In that fragility, I show my glory. In that emptiness, I fill with abundance. In that brokenness, I raise a testimony of victory. Many think that life is only for the strong, that the weak have no place. But I delight in showing my power in those who recognize their limitations, in those who can no longer move forward alone, in those who admit they need me. Because there, and only there, can I pour out a strength that does not come from the human, but from the eternal. 2 Corinthians 12 verse 9 says, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." That word is not theory, it is reality for you now. What you feel today as insufficiency is the space where my power is perfected. Do not be ashamed of being weak, because in that weakness I pour out a strength that never fails. You see the trembling of your hands and think that all is lost. I see that tremor and transform it into a gesture of faith that moves mountains. You see your voice tremble in prayer and think you have no faith. I hear that broken whisper and receive it as a powerful cry that opens the heavens. You see your falls as failure. I see in them the perfect opportunity to lift you with more authority than before. I do not want you to live hiding your weariness. I want you to bring it to me. Because while you hide it, the weight increases, but when you give it to me, I turn it into testimony. I do not want you to pretend to have strength you do not have. I want you to come honestly, even if your knees tremble, even if your voice breaks, even if your heart is wounded. I do not reject that sincerity. On the contrary, it is the exact ground where I pour out all that I am. You have seen how others seem to move forward without stumbling, and that has made you feel lesser. But I do not compare you to anyone. I love you in your condition and act in your story with a unique design. My strength in you is not a copy of another. It is an exclusive outpouring designed for your battles, for your burdens, for your process. When you feel that life overwhelms you, remember, I am in you. And what I am in you is greater than what comes against you. It will not be your human endurance that sustains you. It will be my supernatural strength. It will not be your logic that carries you forward. It will be my power acting beyond what you understand. In your weakness, I pour encouragement. In your fatigue, I pour vigor. In your emptiness, I pour fullness. And when all this manifests, you will know that it was not your work, but mine. I know there are moments when you think you will fall and never rise again. But I want you to understand that I will not allow your weakness to be your tomb. On the contrary, it will be the place where I will clearly write that my grace is sufficient and my power is perfected in you. Your story will not be remembered for the weakness you faced, but for the strength that lifted you. Those around you will see and say, "How did they manage to get through?" And your answer will be simple. It was my strength in your weakness. That weakness you despise so much will become a sign of my love. Because when you admit you can no longer, you give me permission to work with all my fullness. And when you surrender control to me, I do the impossible. Very soon you will look back and remember this time of fragility not as the chapter of your defeat, but as the starting point of a new dawn. You will understand that your crying was not wasted, that your fatigue was not in vain, that your weakness was the platform upon which I poured my glory. Stop carrying it alone. Stop pretending you can handle everything. Rest in me, because while you sleep, I keep working. While you tremble, I keep sustaining you. While you fall, I prepare your rising. Allow me to transform your fragility into strength. Allow me to show that you do not need to be invincible to see my glory. You only need to give me what you are, with your fears, your breaks, and your emptiness. I do not reject that. I embrace it, cover it, and turn it into something new. And when my strength pours over you, your weakness will become testimony. You will not be remembered as someone who fell, but as someone who, in the midst of crisis, was lifted with power that was not theirs but mine. Thus, in your weakness I pour my strength, and that strength will be sufficient to sustain you, to guide you, and to carry you to the victory I have prepared for you. In the midst of the silence that surrounds you, where uncertainty spreads like a dense veil and pain has tried to be your constant companion, I lift my voice to declare over you a truth that breaks every chain. In the midst of your darkness, I ignite a flame that no one can extinguish. My word pierces the wall of fear, shatters the lies that have tried to imprison you, and establishes a new dawn that begins deep within your spirit. Your crisis is not the end, nor is it the place where your story will be buried. Your crisis is the field where I deploy my wonders, where heaven meets earth, and the impossible begins to breathe. I raise decrees of life where men sign sentences of death, proclaim open paths where there were only walls, announce hope in territories that were dominated by despair. All that seemed like an endless desert will become a spring. The dry bones that were forgotten will receive my breath. What you looked at as ruins will become the foundation of a new glorious building. Darkness has no power to silence my light, nor do shadows have authority to extinguish my fire. I declare that your night will not be eternal. Your crying will not be perpetual. The shadow that tried to cover you will be pierced by a greater radiance. My glory will manifest like dawn breaking the darkness of the morning, like fire that does not consume but transforms everything in its path. You are not prey to pain nor captive to what happened. The world may say it is too late, that there is no way out, that the doors are closed and there is no future. But my voice rises above every human argument and declares, nothing is over while my power continues to work for you. What is ruin for others is a seed of miracle for me. What seemed like defeat to you is a platform of victory for me. The fear that tried to dominate your mind is now displaced by my peace. The confusion that made you feel lost is replaced by clarity. The thoughts of failure that sank you are transformed into conviction that I have prepared a new season for you. You will not walk in shadows, you will walk in light. When the voices around you say that all is extinguished, I proclaim from above that a spark of hope begins to grow within you. That spark will become a flame, that flame will become a torch, and that torch will ignite all your surroundings until the environment that was once marked by darkness is invaded by my presence. The same power that raised universes from nothing, the same power that separated light from darkness, is the power that now operates in your crisis. You will not be trapped in the valley of shadow, because my word goes before you, opening the way. You will not remain stuck in the mud, because my arm extends strength and lifts you with authority. It is written, the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1 verse 5. That word is not a story of the past. It is a living decree over your situation. The darkness that surrounds you does not have the last word. I break it, I displace it, I subdue it under the authority of my eternal light. Today I proclaim a change of atmosphere over your life. Where there was ruin, I announce restoration. Where there was hopelessness, I declare renewed trust. Where everything seemed closed, I raise the proclamation that new doors will open before you. And when those doors open, no one will be able to close them. Do not look for small signs, because what I am igniting over you will be evident like lightning in the midst of the storm. My glory does not hide in the cracks of fear. It rises to be seen by those who doubt it, so that even those who mocked will recognize that I did not abandon you. Remember this: the hope I place in you does not depend on circumstances, it depends on my unchanging character. Seasons change, men betray, human strength runs out, but my faithfulness never breaks. That faithfulness is the fire that will keep your spirit burning even when everything around seems to fade. What was once crying will become singing, what was ruin will become testimony. You will not look back with shame, but with gratitude. I proclaim that the places that were desolate will be filled with fruit, and that the memories of darkness will only be evidence of how great was the light I delighted to pour over you. I declare before heaven and earth that your story will not be told by pain, but by miracles. Those who doubt today will see, those who distrust today will believe, Those who point at you today will recognize that it was I who lifted your life from the dust. Just as in creation I spoke, "Let there be light," today I proclaim over your crisis, "Let there be hope." That hope will not be fleeting or temporary, it will be a firm rock on which your renewed faith will settle. With that faith you will walk, and with that hope, you will witness wonders that will mark the rest of your days. The valley where you were will be transformed into a mountain of celebration. The loneliness where you cried will be replaced by living communion with my presence. Where there was emptiness, I pour fullness. Where there was fear, I plant courage. Where there was silence, I place a new song. I tell you with authority, you will not fear the darkness that comes, because it has already been defeated before you. The radiance of my presence will be your guide. You will not walk blind, you will walk with vision. You will not advance in uncertainty, you will advance with certainty. Because I have determined that your crisis will become the stage of my glory. All that you thought was the end will be a prologue. All that you thought was lost will be multiplied. All that seemed dead will be resurrected. Because I have decreed hope in your night, and that hope will shine with such intensity that you will never doubt my faithfulness again. Let the heavens, the earth, and the nations hear this proclamation. I ignite hope in your darkness, declare victory over your brokenness, establish miracles in your crisis. And what I decree stands. I have seen every tear you shed in silence, every night you spent alone carrying a weight that seemed too great. I have heard your sighs of hopelessness, I have felt your heart break and rise again and again, even when you thought no one noticed. Every blow life dealt you, every wound your soul suffered, I take into account. It is not forgotten pain nor lost suffering. Every fragment of your story is important to me and will be transformed into something far greater than you imagine. The pain you thought would crush you, that you believed would make you give up, has a deeper purpose. It is not in vain, it is not an accident nor a coincidence. Every experience that broke your spirit, every loss that tore your heart, every disappointment that made you tremble, I gather and turn into a bridge toward healing and hope. Your story, which seemed marked by sadness, will be told as a testimony of my power and my love. You do not have to understand now how all this will be transformed, because my work does not always follow human timing. What seems impossible to you becomes possible for me. Your pain is the raw material I use to create miracles, to open doors you could not see, to ignite lights where everything seemed dark. Every tear, every sigh, every moment you thought all was lost, I take and turn into evidence of my glory. When you look back, you will remember that every difficulty had a hidden purpose. What seemed like defeat will become a story of triumph. What seemed like an irreparable loss will become a legacy of strength and hope. Pain will not remain as a dark memory. I will transform it into a narrative of victory that will inspire others going through their own crises. Romans 8 verse 28 says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." This verse is not only for times of peace or joy, it is especially for moments like yours. Every circumstance that today seems like a dead-end challenge will be part of the story I am writing in your life. Every wound, every pain, every tear will be chapters that tell how my power manifested when all seemed lost. Do not fear your story. Do not be ashamed of your past or of the moments when you thought there was no way out. All of that will be transformed into a testimony that brings hope and encouragement to others. The work I am doing in you is greater than your eyes can see, deeper than your mind can comprehend, and more powerful than your current feelings can imagine. I have decided to use your pain as an instrument of my glory. Every scar you carry, visible or invisible, will be proof that my love is capable of transforming the impossible. Every tear will be a seed of faith in others. Every fall will serve to show that no matter how deep the wound, I can heal it. Everything that today seems broken will be lifted with strength, and the story of your life will be a beacon guiding those who seek hope in the midst of their own darkness. Do not underestimate the impact your testimony will have. Many have gone through situations similar to yours and have felt alone, without guidance, without hope. But your story, once transformed, will be a message of light that touches lives, inspires hearts, and brings comfort to those who have lost faith. Everything you endured was not in vain. Every sacrifice, every struggle, every pain, will be part of a testimony that glorifies my name. I want you to know that I am not limited by your emotions or your circumstances. I do not depend on your strength or your ability to endure pain. My power operates even when you feel you cannot go on. My love transforms the deepest wound into a testimony that surpasses the human, because everything I do is eternal and perfect. Soon you will see how every situation that today hurts you will become a blessed memory. Those nights of crying will turn into stories of faith. The moments of loneliness will become tales of divine companionship and protection. Every time you thought you were falling in vain, you will discover that I was lifting each part of your life with care and purpose. The transformation I operate in your story is not temporary, it is definitive. What is pain today will become a marker of my faithfulness. The trials you went through will be living testimony that my power can turn any adverse situation into a miracle. No matter how impossible the situation seems, nothing escapes my control. I have the ability to turn any circumstance in favor of those who seek me with a sincere heart. Do not let fear or doubt cloud your vision. What you do not understand today, tomorrow will be clarity. What seems impossible now will become evidence of my glory. Your life will be an open book where every chapter of pain becomes a story of victory. Those who doubt today will see my power, those who are sad today will receive hope, and those who feel all is lost today will witness my intervention. Every tear you have shed, every night you stayed awake, every moment you felt your heart break, all of that will be transformed into light that illuminates not only your path but also the paths of others. Every painful experience that afflicts you today will be the testimony declaring that my power is real and my love never fails. My desire is that you embrace your story, that you do not reject it nor ignore it. That every pain you carry you give to me, and I will turn it into a testimony that touches hearts. That every wound becomes a bridge, every tear a seed, and every fall a step toward your victory. When the time comes that you clearly see the fruit of everything you have lived, you will remember that not a single moment was wasted. That every experience was part of my plan, that every trial was fertile ground for the miracle, and that every pain was transformed into a story of hope and victory. Your testimony will not only speak of your resilience, it will speak of my power and my love that never abandons. It will be a story that inspires, comforts, and encourages those who are going through similar crises today. Every word spoken about your life will be evidence that my hand was present, working even when you did not see it. Do not forget that your pain has a greater purpose. Do not allow bitterness to take root. Do not allow hopelessness to speak for you. Every experience you lived will testify that my power transforms, my love restores, and my glory manifests in the lives of those who trust in me. And when my work is finally complete, you will look back with gratitude, understand the depth of my faithfulness, and praise my name for every moment of pain that today seems unbearable. You will see that your life has become living testimony, a light for others, and a proclamation of my miracle in times of crisis. When everything seems to collapse around you, when the walls of your hopes fall and the plans you believed were firm crumble, I lift my voice over your life and declare, nothing is impossible for me. What men consider closed, I open. What the wise consider impassable, I make passable. What your heart believes lost, I place back into your hands with abundance and glory. My power knows no limits, nor can your circumstances contain what I am willing to do. No matter how dark your situation seems, I fill it with light. No matter how broken your world is, I rebuild it. No matter how insurmountable your problems appear, I am the solution that transcends all understanding. Every crisis has a purpose. Every obstacle is ground where my glory will manifest, and every human impossibility will be the platform for my authority to be seen. You have faced moments when your faith wavered, when your hope seemed to fade. You have thought there was no way out, that all was lost, and that your life would never make sense again. But I am here to declare with power that the impossible is subject to my will, and that no crisis is too great for my intervention. Your mind limited by fear cannot comprehend my ways. Your human eyes cannot perceive the dimension of what I am doing in your favor. Your broken heart cannot measure the strength of my power flowing over you. But I know what you need, I know the solution, and I act with authority to bring to your life that which seems unattainable. No one else can change what I can change. No one else can open what I can open. No one else can restore what I can lift. For I am the one who transforms impossibilities into realities, who makes what has no path become a way, who turns what was dead into abundant life. Matthew 19 verse 26 says, "With man this is impossible, but with God all things are possible." This principle is not only a promise, it is a mandate that acts in your crisis. What today seems insurmountable, tomorrow will be evidence of my glory. What today seems impossible, tomorrow will be testimony of the miracle I performed. No circumstance can resist the force of my power, and no human limitation can contain my intervention. I have seen how fear tried to dominate your heart, how despair wanted to seal your lips, and how discouragement tried to take away your hope. But my authority rises above all that. My decrees do not stop before unbelief, and my power is not diminished by human weakness. Every crisis you face is a stage to demonstrate that my sovereignty has no rival. When you feel trapped with no way out, remember that I know no limits. When you feel your strength fail, remember that I uphold all with my power. When you believe your world is collapsing, remember that my glory manifests in the midst of chaos. Everything that seems impossible today will tomorrow be testimony of my intervention. No one can anticipate what I will do because my ways are higher than human ways. There is no wall I cannot tear down, no shadow I cannot dissipate, no difficulty I cannot overcome. My hand is extended to transform impossibilities into victories, to turn problems into blessings, to lift what has been brought down, and to restore what has been lost. Your crisis is not an accident. Your difficulty is not the end of the story. Every circumstance is under my control and part of a greater plan. What seemed like an obstacle will be a springboard. What seemed like defeat will be victory. What seemed impossible will be the manifestation of my glory. Do not fear the size of your problems because my power is greater. Do not doubt your ability to overcome what you face because my strength flows through you. Do not be overcome by hopelessness because my intervention never fails. Every impossibility you encounter is the opportunity for my power to manifest and my name to be glorified. I declare that no plan of destruction that the enemy has devised over your life will prevail. Every attack, every lie, every difficulty is subject to my authority and will be transformed into an instrument of miracle and blessing. The impossibility you believed was final will be testimony of the miracle I performed. I make ways where there are none. I open doors where they were closed. I create solutions where no alternatives existed. My power is not limited by human logic nor by the capacity of men. Everything that seemed impossible, I make possible. I want you to understand that your faith does not have to be perfect for me to act. You do not need to understand every detail, nor control every outcome. It is enough that you trust, because when you place your impossibilities in my hands, I act with divine precision and transform them into tangible reality. Nothing is too great, nothing is too complex, nothing is beyond my reach. I command the heavens and the earth. I cause what has no form to take existence. I transform impossibilities into testimonies. And that is what I am doing in your life now, even when your mind cannot see it, even when your heart fears, even when everything seems lost. You will receive evidence that the impossible has been made possible. You will see doors opening before you, paths that were once blocked, solutions that seemed non-existent. And you will understand that it was not by your effort, but by my powerful intervention. Your story will be told as testimony that the God of the impossible acts in the midst of crises. Those around you today who do not believe in miracles will witness how my power transformed impossibilities into realities. Those who doubted your future will be convinced by what my hands accomplished. Every obstacle, every adverse situation, every impossibility you faced will be turned into evidence of my sovereignty and glory. The crisis that seemed uncontrollable will be the stage of my miracle. What seemed dead will be resurrected, what seemed lost will be restored, what seemed impossible will manifest before all. Lift up your eyes and see, your future is not limited by what you see now. Do not let fear decide your destiny. Do not let doubt control your faith. Every impossibility you face is subject to my power and will be transformed into a miracle, into victory, into glory. Today I declare that your crisis is not stronger than my power. Your difficulty is not greater than my authority. Your impossibility is only the opportunity to demonstrate that I am the God who can do everything that others consider unachievable. And when my intervention manifests, every tongue will recognize my glory and every life will witness my miracle. When life seems to collapse everything you love, when projects fade and dreams break into 1,000 pieces, I intervene to rebuild what seemed lost. What the crisis took will not remain in ruins. Every empty space will be filled, every wounded heart will be healed, and every closed door will open again with blessing. The destruction you experienced has no power over what I have destined for you. Nothing that was taken will remain without restoration. Every loss that caused pain, every disappointment that brought tears, every expectation that was frustrated, will be transformed into evidence of my faithfulness. The time of reconstruction has come, and there will be no place for despair, because my purpose is to return with abundance what seemed irretrievable. The sadness that marked your soul will be replaced with lasting joy. The nights of anguish will become moments of peace that surpass all understanding. The wounds that seemed impossible to heal will be closed with tenderness and strength. Everything that was broken will be lifted again, but stronger and more beautiful than before, and the story of your life will speak of miracles where there was once emptiness. The losses you thought were final will become testimony of my restorative power. Every experience of pain will turn into a memory that confirms nothing is beyond my reach. No matter how deep the crisis was, restoration knows no limits. Every piece of your life that was fractured will be perfectly assembled, and what was lost will be returned multiplied in blessing and fullness. Joel 2 verse 25 says, I will restore to you the years that the locust, the cankerworm, the caterpillar, and the palmerworm have eaten, my great army which I sent among you. This word applies to every area of your life that today seems destroyed. Every time of loss, every experience that left you empty, will be transformed into testimony of my love and my power. Everything that seemed it would not return, I will restore, and that which seemed broken, I will make whole to become a seed of miracle. Relationships that were torn will be rebuilt with understanding and true love. Dreams that withered will be revived with renewed purpose. Opportunities that were closed will be reopened with blessing and abundance. Every area of your life affected by the crisis will be restored according to my perfect will. You do not need to know how the restoration will occur because my power is sufficient to create paths where there were none. Every corner of your existence that suffered will be touched by my intervention, and what seemed impossible will be evident before your eyes. Every moment of anguish will have an end, and the reward of patience and faith will manifest gloriously. What was taken will be multiplied, and the trials you faced will become testimony that nothing can resist my power. Your life will be an example that restoration is greater than loss, that blessing is stronger than pain, and that my love always prevails. Even the emotions that seemed irreparable, such as deep sorrow, frustration, or bitterness, will be transformed into forces that propel you forward. Every fear that paralyzed you will be replaced with confidence, every doubt will become firm faith, and every insecurity will transform into certainty that my plans are perfect. Everything that was destroyed will not only be returned, but will be beautified with purpose. Every space that was marked by the crisis will be filled with fullness, peace, and joy. The scars that remain will be a reminder of faithfulness that never fails, and the memories of loss will become evidence of my miraculous intervention. The process of restoration does not rush, but it does not stop either. Every day that it seems there is no change, my work continues to advance. Every moment you feel that nothing moves, I continue rebuilding, strengthening, and preparing everything for your life to flourish like never before. Every area that suffered destruction will be transformed and bear evidence of my power and my eternal love. Do not allow sorrow to take root in your heart. Do not allow hopelessness to mark your mind. Every pain you experienced has a purpose and will be transformed into a testimony that inspires others. Every tear will be a seed of life, and every loss will be a catalyst for miracles that transcend the human. Your story does not end in the crisis. The narrative of your life will be testimony that my restoration is complete and abundant. What today seems impossible, tomorrow will be a glorious memory of how I intervened in your life and restored what the crisis tried to steal from you. Nothing that happened will be wasted, all will be used to manifest my glory and your victory. Every experience of pain, every disappointment, and every difficulty will be a reminder that my power never runs out. The restoration I bring is not temporary or partial, it is definitive. What was destroyed will be rebuilt with strength, beauty, and purpose, and your life will speak of miracles where there was once loss. The hands that were wounded, the hearts that were broken, and the dreams that seemed lost, all of that will be lifted and glorified. Every space that the crisis touched will be turned into testimony of my faithfulness. Every area of your life that suffered will be restored with divine precision, and everything that was taken will return multiplied and joyful. In the end, your life will not be defined by what the crisis destroyed, but by the strength of my intervention and the beauty of my restoration. Every painful memory will be replaced with gratitude, every wound with healing, every loss with abundance. My work is perfect and my restoration will be complete. Every story that seemed broken, every path that seemed lost, every heart that felt defeated, all will be transformed by my intervention. There are no limits to what I can renew. What was destroyed will now be restored. What was sorrowful will become a reason for joy. What was marked by defeat will be crowned with victory. The past has no power over your future, and the crisis that struck you does not define the work I am performing in your life. I declare that the days of darkness are over. Every shadow that covered you dissipates before the light of my glory. Every pain that weighed on you becomes a stepping stone toward what I am preparing for you. What seemed impossible to repair is now a firm foundation for everything to flourish in fullness. No force on earth can prevent what I have decreed from being fulfilled in your life. The dreams that seemed lost will be reinstated in your heart, and what was once broken will be lifted with a purpose that surpasses all your expectations. Every relationship, every project, every area of your existence affected by the crisis will be transformed into evidence of my power. I do not only repair, but I make all things new, and your story will become a testimony that proclaims my glory. Every tear shed will be a reminder of my faithfulness. Every moment of hopelessness will signal that no suffering is wasted when my hands touch it. Every wound from the past will be closed with perfect healing, and every emptiness will be filled with abundant blessing. What seemed lost will be returned multiplied, and your life will reflect the miraculous work I can do where others see only ruin. Revelation 21 verse 5 says, "And he who sat on the throne said, Behold, I make all things new." This word is not only an eternal promise, it is an active proclamation over your life. Every area that suffered, every space that felt desolate, every time of crisis, everything will be renewed with power and authority. The reconstruction I operate in your life will not be partial or temporary, but complete and eternal. My intervention is definitive and glorious, and no one can stop the work I am doing. The hopelessness that once tried to remain with you will find no place. The fear that paralyzed you will vanish before my presence. The doubts that darkened your mind will be replaced by certainty and clarity. Every obstacle that seemed insurmountable will be overcome with ease, and every impossibility will become evidence of my power. I declare that your story now enters a time of victory. The crisis has no more authority over you. What seemed impossible will become part of the story that will speak of my glory and my faithfulness. Every broken plan will be replaced by divine strategies that will bear abundant fruit. Every empty space will be filled, and every wound will receive complete healing. No one else can offer the renewal I give. There is no human resource or earthly power that can transform what I transform. What others consider the end, I turn into a beginning. What others believe lost, I make eternal. My power has no limits, and my purpose for you has no substitute or comparison. Every day that passes is part of the process of making all things new in your life. Every trial, every pain, every difficulty is fertile ground for my glory to manifest. Nothing you experienced will be in vain. Everything has a purpose and everything will be transformed for good. Nothing remains the same when my intervention arrives, because everything I touch is filled with life, light, and miracle. Today I proclaim that your future will be brighter than any expectation you have ever had. The dreams that seemed faded will return with renewed strength. The relationships that broke will rise with harmony and understanding. The abundance that seemed distant will come into your life, and the joy you sought will be constant. Everything will be testimony of my ability to make all things new, of my faithfulness, and of my power that never fails. Do not allow human perspective to determine what I can do. Do not let past failures define your destiny. What today seems difficult will be your evidence of miracle tomorrow. The transformation I bring is not superficial. It penetrates your heart, your mind, and every area of your life. Everything the crisis touched will be renewed, and every aspect will be more beautiful, stronger, and fuller than before. My intervention is glorious and complete. Every tear, every wound, every loss will be replaced with joy, healing, and restoration. Every area affected by the crisis will be filled with new life, and your story will be a living example of my power. What seemed impossible to lift will be restored with divine and eternal purpose. The miracle you were waiting for will not only manifest, but it will exceed your expectations. Every space where there was pain will be marked by joy. Every area of defeat will be turned into victory. Every memory of loss will testify that I can make all things new. The life that seemed broken will rise in splendor, and the glory that seemed distant will be evident to all. I declare that your hope will be renewed. Your faith will be strengthened. Your heart will be restored. Every moment you thought lost will be part of a story of triumph. What once seemed impossible will now be testimony of my glory and my faithfulness in your life. No shadow will remain, no place where pain has the last word. Everything will be transformed by my power. Everything will be made new, and every area of your existence will reflect the wonder of my work. Everything that was destroyed by the crisis will be lifted, beautified, and multiplied. Your life will enter a time of fullness, abundance, and miracle. Every project will be blessed, every relationship restored, every space of your existence filled with hope and joy. There will be no limits to what I can do because my power is infinite and my faithfulness eternal. Everything will be made new. And when all has manifested, you will look back and understand that every moment of pain, every trial, and every difficulty was the ground where I made all things new. Every story of loss will become a story of triumph. Every wound will be evidence of healing, and every obstacle overcome will be testimony of miracle. The crisis will have ended not because the world changed, but because I made all things new in your life. And everything I touch shines with my glory, with my power, and with my eternal love. This is the glorious conclusion of the work I carry out in you. What was destroyed is now restored, what was lost is now found, and what seemed impossible is now evidence of my power.